Abductor digiti minimi, foot muscle that allows the little toe to flex and move. Abductor hallucis, foot muscle that moves the big toe away from the other toes. Abductors, muscles that draw a body part away from the midline of the body. Separate the fingers in the hand. Adductors, muscles that draw a body part toward the midline of the body. Draw the fingers together in the hand. Anabolism, process of simple molecules combining to form a complex molecule, requires energy. Anatomy, also called gross anatomy, is the study of human body structures, how the body parts are organized, and the science of the interconnected structure of organisms, or of their parts. Aorta, largest artery in the body. Arteries, thick-walled flexible tubes that carry oxygenated blood away from the heart to the arterioles. Arterioles, small arteries that deliver blood to capillaries. Autonomic nervous system, part of the nervous system that controls involuntary muscle action and regulates the action of the smooth muscles, glands, blood vessels, heart, and breathing. Belly, middle part of the muscle. Bicep, muscle that produces the contour of the front and inner side of the upper arm, lifts the forearm and flexes the elbow. Blood, fluid that travels through the circulatory system to supply oxygen and nutrients to cells and tissues and to remove carbon dioxide and waste from them. Blood vessels, tube-like structures that circulate blood throughout the body, including arteries, arterioles, capillaries, venules, and veins. Body systems, also known as systems, groups of body organs acting together to perform one or more functions. Brain, one of the body's most complex organs that controls all of the body's functions. Buccinator, muscle of the cheek between the upper and lower jaw that compresses the cheeks and expels air between the lips. Capillaries, tiny blood vessels that connect the smaller arteries to the venules, bring nutrients to the cells, and carry away waste materials. Carpus, also known as the wrist, flexible joint composed of 8 small irregular bones called carpals. Catabolism, process of breaking complex molecules down into simple molecules, releases energy. Cell membrane, thin layer of tissue that surrounds the cell. It protects the interior of the cell from its surroundings and is semi-permeable, meaning it allows certain substances to enter the cell. Cells, basic units of all living things. Central nervous system, controls voluntary muscle actions and consists of the brain, spinal cord, spinal nerves, and cranial nerves. Cervical vertebrae, 7 bones located below the skull, provide support, structure, and flexibility to the neck. Circulatory system, also known as cardiovascular system or vascular system, controls the body's steady circulation through the heart and blood vessels. Clavicle, also known as the collarbone. It joins the sternum and scapula. Common carotid arteries, main arteries on both sides of the neck that supply blood to the head, face, and neck. Connective tissue, fibrous tissue that binds and supports other body tissues and organs. Corrugator, small muscle located between the eyebrows just below the frontalis, draws the eyebrow down and wrinkles the forehead vertically. Cranium, oval bony case consisting of 8 bones that protect the brain. Cytoplasm, watery fluid that surrounds the nucleus, provides structure for cell parts to move within the cell membrane. Enzymes in the cytoplasm help digest and break down other molecules for food. Deltoid, large triangular muscle covering the shoulder joint that allows the arm to extend outward and to the side of the body. Depressor labii inferioris, muscle that surrounds and lowers the lower lip and draws it to one side, as when expressing sarcasm, also known as quadratus labii inferius. Endocrine system. Body system consisting of a group of specialized glands that control the growth, development, reproduction, and health of the entire body. Endocrine glands, also known as ductless glands, include the pituitary, thyroid, and adrenal glands, as well as other glands that release hormones directly into the bloodstream. Epicranial aponeurosis. Tendon that connects the occipitalis and frontalis muscles. Epicranius. Broad muscle that covers the top of the skull and consists of the occipitalis and frontalis, also called occipitofrontalis. Epithelial tissue. Provides a covering that protects the body and is found within many parts of the body such as skin, mucous membranes, digestive and respiratory organs, the lining of the mouth, the lining of the heart, and the glands. Ethmoid bone separates nasal cavity from the brain. Exocrine glands, also known as duct glands, include the sebaceous and sudoriferous glands, as well as others, and produce a substance that travels through small tube-like ducts. Extensor digitorum longus, muscle that bends the foot up and extends the toes. Extensor hallucis longus, muscle that extends the big toe and flexes the foot. Extensors, muscles that extend and straighten joints such as the wrist, hand, and fingers to form a straight line. External carotid artery supplies blood to the anterior parts of the scalp, ear, face, neck, and sides of the head. External jugular vein, located at the side of the neck, it carries blood returning to the heart from the head, face, and neck. Facial skeleton, framework of the face, composed of 14 bones. Fibula, located on the little toe side of the lower leg, smaller of the two leg bones below the knee. Flexor, extensor muscle of the wrist involved in flexing or bending it. Flexor digiti minimi, foot muscle that moves the little toe. Flexor digitorum brevis, foot muscle that flexes the toes and helps maintain balance while walking and standing. Frontal bone, bone that forms the forehead. Frontalis, front or anterior portion of the epicranius, scalp muscle that raises the eyebrows, draws the scalp forward, and causes wrinkles across the forehead. Gastrocnemius, muscle attached to the lower rear surface of the heel that pulls the foot down. Glands, produce and release substances that perform a specific function in the body. Heart, muscular cone-shaped organ that keeps the blood moving within the circulatory system. Hormones, chemical substance such as insulin, adrenaline, and estrogen that stimulate activities in the body. Humerus, uppermost and largest bone in the arm, extending from the elbow to the shoulder. Hyoid bone, U-shaped bone at the base of the tongue that supports it and its muscles, the only bone of the throat. Insertion, movable part of the muscle anchored to the bone, attached farthest from the skeleton. Integumentary system, body system consisting of skin and its accessory organs, such as the oil and sweat glands, sensory receptors, hair, and nails. It serves as a protective covering and helps regulate the body's temperature. Internal carotid artery, supplies blood to the brain, eyes, eyelid, forehead, nose, and internal ear. Internal jugular vein, located at the side of the neck to collect blood from the brain in parts of the face and neck. Joint, connection between two or more bones. Lacrimal bones, two small, thin bones located in the front inside wall of the eye sockets. Levator anguli oris, muscle that raises the angle of the mouth and draws it inward. Levator labii superioris, muscle that surrounds and elevates the upper lips and dilates the nostrils, as when expressing distaste. Levator palpebrae superioris, thin muscle that controls the movement of the eyelid. Lymph, clear or pale yellow fluid that contains white blood cells and travels through lymph vessels. Lymphatic system, body system that helps defend against infection and includes lymph, lymph nodes, thymus gland, spleen, and lymph vessels. Lymph nodes, gland-like structures that filter bacteria, viruses, and cancer cells and are connected by lymph vessels. Mandible, largest and strongest bone of the face that forms the lower jaw. Masseter, originates at the lower part of the zygomatic, moves the mandible, causing the mouth to close. Mastication, medical term for chewing. Maxillae bones, two bones that form the upper jaw. Mentalis, muscle at the tip of the chin that elevates the lower lip and raises and wrinkles the skin of the chin. Metabolism, chemical process by which cells convert nutrients to energy. Metacarpus, 5 bones or metacarpals of the palm located between the carpus and the phalanges. Metatarsals, 5 long slender bones similar to the metacarpal bones of the hand. Mitosis, process of cell reproduction that occurs when the cell divides into 2 identical daughter cells. Motor nerves, also known as efferent nerves, carry impulses from the brain to the muscles or glands. These transmitted impulses produce movement. Muscle tissue contracts and moves various parts of the body. Muscular system, body system that covers and holds the skeletal system in place and moves various body parts. Myology, study of the structure, functions, and diseases of the muscular system. Nasal bones, 2 bones that form the bridge of the nose. Nerves, whitish bundles of nerve fibers that transmit impulses. Nerve tissue, carries messages to and from the brain and controls and coordinates all bodily functions. Nervous system, well-organized body system composed of the brain, spinal cord, and nerves. Controls and coordinates all other body systems. Neurology, study of the structure, function, and pathology of the nervous system. Nucleus, specialized structure at the center of the cell, controls growth and reproduction of the cell and contains the cell's genetic material. Occipital bone, located below the parietal bones forming the back of the skull above the nape. Occipitalis, back or posterior portion of the epicranius, muscle that draws the scalp backward. Opponens, muscle that allows the thumb to be moved toward a finger of the same hand. Orbicularis oculi, ring muscle of the eye socket that closes the eyelids and assists in pumping tears. Orbicularis oris, muscle that circles the mouth and contracts, puckers, and wrinkles the lips. Organs, groups of specialized tissues designed to perform specific functions. Origin, part of the muscle that does not move and is anchored to the bone, attached closest to the skeleton. Osteology, the study of bones. Parietal bones, 2 bones that form the sides and top of the cranium. Patella, also known as the kneecap, forms the kneecap joint. Peripheral nervous system, system of nerves connecting the peripheral or outer parts of the body to the central nervous system, has both sensory and motor nerves, carries impulses to and from the CNS. Peroneus brevis, muscle that originates on the lower surface of the fibula and bends the foot down and out. Peroneus longus, muscle that covers the outer side of the calf, inverts the foot and turns it outward. Phalanges, also known as digits, bones of the fingers or toes. There are 28 in the fingers, 3 in each finger and 2 in each thumb. There are 14 in the toes, 2 in each big toe and 3 in each smaller toe. Physiology, study of the functions and activities performed by the body's structures. Platysma, broad muscle extending from the pectoral and deltoid muscles to the side of the chin, responsible for lowering the lower jaw and lip. Procerus, muscle that covers the bridge of the nose, lowers the eyebrows, and causes wrinkles across the bridge of the nose. Pronator, muscles that turn the hand inward so the palm faces downward. Protoplasm, makes up a cell, contains nutrients, mineral salts, and water. Pulmonary circulation, system that takes oxygen-poor blood to the lungs for oxygenation and waste removal, then returns that blood to the heart, the left atrium, so oxygen-rich blood can be delivered to the body. Radius, smaller bone in the forearm on the same side as the thumb. Reflex, automatic reaction that involves sending an impulse from a sensory receptor along the sensory nerve to the spinal cord. Risorius, muscle at the corner of the mouth that draws it out and back, as when grinning. Scapula, also called the shoulder blade, a large flat triangular bone of the shoulder. There are two scapulae. Sensory nerves, also known as afferent nerves. They carry messages from the sense organs, heat, cold, sight, sound, smell, and taste, to the brain and spinal cord. Skeletal system forms the physical foundation of the body and is composed of 206 bones that vary in size and shape, connected by movable and immovable joints. Skull, skeleton of the head, divided into two parts called the cranium and facial skeleton. Soleus, muscle that originates at the upper portion of the fibula and bends the foot down. Spinal cord, it is the portion of the central nervous system that originates in the brain and extends down to the bottom of the spine. Sphenoid bone, forms the base and sides of the skull. Sternocleidomastoideus, neck muscle that lowers and rotates the head, originates at the clavicle and inserts at the temporal bone near the ear. Supinator, forearm muscle that rotates the radius outward and the palm upward. Systemic circulation, system that carries oxygen-rich blood from the heart throughout the body and returns oxygen-poor blood back to the heart, also known as general circulation. Talus, also called the ankle bone, located between the heel, tibia, and fibula. Tarsals, 7 irregularly shaped bones in the ankle area, including the talus, calcaneus, or the heel, navicular, cuboid, and 3 cuneiform bones. Temporal bones, 2 bones forming the sides of the head in the ear region. Temporalis, located near the temple that opens and closes the jaw. Tibia, also called the shin bone. It's the larger of the 2 leg bones below the knee on the big toe side that supports most of the body's weight. Tibialis anterior, muscle covering the front of the shin that bends the foot upward and inward. Tissue, group of similar cells that perform a specific function. Trapezius, muscle that covers the back of the neck and upper and middle regions of the back, lifts and turns the head, raises the shoulders, and controls swinging movements of the arm. Triangularis, muscle at the corner of the lip that extends over the chin and pulls down the corners of the mouth when frowning. Tricep, large muscle covering the entire back of the upper arm that extends the forearm and straightens the elbow. Ulna, inner and larger bone in the forearm located on the side of the little finger. Veins, thin-walled blood vessels that are less elastic than arteries and carry blood containing waste products to the heart and lungs for cleaning and to pick up oxygen. Contain cup-like valves that keep blood flowing in one direction to the heart and prevent blood from flowing backward. Venules, small veins that connect the capillaries to larger veins. Zygomatic bones, also known as cheekbones or malar bones. They form the prominence of the cheeks and the outer part of the eye socket. Zygomaticus major, muscle that extends from the zygomatic bone to the angle of the mouth. directs the lip outward and upward when laughing or smiling. Zygomaticus minor, muscle that works with the zygomaticus major to make facial expressions.